And good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Picnic Table Chat Show. This is episode number 12, I believe. And I just want to say a massive welcome to everybody on all the different platforms. We are currently broadcasting to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and we do have viewers on all three platforms. So a massive welcome to you all, and a massive welcome to anyone watching in the future. Also, a massive thank you to all the sponsors and Patreon supporting the show currently. It's making massive changes, and as you can see, we've actually got the technology working for once, but we're making some changes behind the scenes at the moment with the help of your Patreon support money. So that's a massive thank you to you all. Now, we did have a guest lined up for tonight. He's not able to make it. He's just been completely unavailable. Which is fair enough. It does happen, as we all know. So, as always, you're going to have to deal with me. I hope that's okay. I've got a few things lined up to talk to you about, as I always do. So, we're going to have a little bit of a show, but nothing intense like an interview. Whatever. We'll still have a good time. So, how's everyone doing? We've got some brilliant people here in the chat. Some people have left, some people have come back. I don't know, but hello, everybody who is there. I'm just watching, so I'm just following on to those, just reading your comments through quickly. Right, so it's been so lovely out lately. Who's been out enjoying the sun? Who got rained on? It's been, like, it was raining this morning, but by this afternoon, it was lovely. Really annoying, like, because unrelated, but as I've been saying lately, I've been getting back into my training. So I remember being outside doing the bench press, and I went to do it, and I was like, it's raining. So I ended up doing shoulder press inside instead, because I had all the stuff inside to do it, and the bench is outside. And then by the time I stopped doing my shoulder press inside, it was sunny. I was like, I could have done my... It's chest day. I don't like mixing up the days, but once you've done it, and you can't go back. You gotta make it work, haven't you? Gotta do what you gotta do. But anyways, who's been out enjoying the sun? It's been absolutely beautiful. I've been out seeing insects and seeing the wildlife. It's been brilliant around here lately. Portland's absolutely thriving with insects. And the only ones that I do say, right, I don't often say I don't like insects, or I do, what? You know what I mean? I don't often say it, right? But there's a particular insect that I do not like, and they're these caterpillars. You might know them. They're like grey and fuzzy and whatever. Good evening, Crazy Antics. Thanks for signing in, buddy. These little brown caterpillars that appear everywhere, right? And they like take over bushes and spin silk, and I don't know. They're like moth caterpillars, I believe. Brown things. But they climb in your windows, and they're bad for your health, and just like they make you itch, and they're annoying. They are everywhere. I'll read through comments again in a minute. But yeah, so these caterpillars, they're not too bad this year. I haven't seen many this year, but generally speaking, they are everywhere. So I'm waiting for them to appear and start causing trouble on Portland. But generally speaking, we've had lovely weather. It's been nice to go out and see the animals and insects. If you're picking up anything, make sure you put it back, like the habitat wise. If you're lifting any logs or rocks to view what's underneath, make sure you put it back where you got it. But generally speaking, it's all right to go and have a look about. So get out, enjoy the nice weather. I'm planning to take the kids out this weekend up the top of the island. There's this nice big flat area that like either side of a quarry, or either side of it is a quarry, sorry, but this is a nice big flat green area. So I'm going to take the kids up there and just have a little run around, see what we can find. You know, it's going to be good fun. Dave, you had rain most of the day. It did rain most of the day here, and then it just suddenly brightened up, and it's gorgeous outside now. I've got like a window right in front of me, like all these filming lights, and there's a big window right in front of me. It's absolutely gorgeous out. There's not a cloud in the sky, which is weird because, like you say, it was raining most of the day. But Portland's really weird, anyways, right? Portland, it can be beautiful sunshine in Weymouth, and then on Portland, it's like got its own climate. It's raining and horrible, and all the other way around. You know, it's weird. Yeah. As Katrina said, you might accidentally make a small a colony home in a small log, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you gain a free colony, that's always good fun, as long as you know what you're doing, keep them. But if you're into ants, or if you're listening to this channel, you probably do know what you know. You're probably able to deal with it. So yeah, go pick up some logs. But yeah, always make sure you picking up logs from a place you're allowed to pick up logs, because some people own logs. You know what I mean. Just be sensible about it. Don't go robbing someone's logs. I don't want to be encouraging people to go stealing someone's logs. I don't know, but generally speaking, if you're out in like a wooded area, it's okay to take a bit home with you, but just don't damage the environment. It's one thing I always say about like moss collecting and whatnot. You can collect moss, but don't take a huge patch of it. Just take little bits here and there and sort of spread out what's left. It soon regrows and comes back to full health. You know, you're not damaging it. But if you take a huge carpet off, then, you know, you're likely to cause more issue. See, it is forest, yes, Katrina, but I said wooded area because not all wooded areas are classed as a forest, and not all forests are wooded areas. No, I don't know, but you know what I mean. It depends on the size and stuff. But like we've got one round here. What do they call it? I can't remember. Something or other, and it's like these like 4 or 5 fields and this little wooded area in the middle, and that's fine, you know. Pedantic. Okay, yeah, all right. Right, moving on anyways. Oh, right, yeah, no, actually, not moving on. I'm going to tell you a little story now. So I went outside the other day to do my log press. Now, if you don't know what log press is, it's this big log that you lift up to your shoulders and then you press up there, right? And because it's quite big and because it's made of wood, I leave it outside, right? It's on these 2 tires in my front garden, and that's my log press area. It's quite heavy. It's not worth putting it away every time, you know what I mean? So I went to do the log press. Got it up to there. I'm just about to press it, and in front of me crawls this snail. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't get away from it. No matter what I'm doing, like even when I'm in athlete mode, there's still insects there. And I was like, I slowly press it. I pressed it and then I put it back down ever so gently, not to hurt the snail. Oh, it was a nightmare. So that was, yeah, my 2 hobbies are sort of crossing over there. It was a bit funny, I thought. Oh well. But anyway, so a couple of episodes ago, I asked for the opinion of the community. And as we have 9 viewers currently watching, let's have a little chat. So I asked your opinion what you think if it's okay to keep worker ants without a queen. Now, this happens in some instances. Some kits, they provide just worker ants and no queen. Some things say to go and get workers and not a queen. Now, what's your sorts of thoughts on that? Because as far as I know, when there's no queen, they don't act like a full colony would, if you know what I mean. They don't go out hunting for protein, like, unless they've got brood and stuff to care for. But yeah. So I would love to know everyone's opinion. Katrina says no, no, no. See, that's really interesting. Like Ant Warrior is saying no. Is it an outright no, or what about for educational purposes? Because I know I spoke to someone recently who wanted just workers because they were a teacher. Not a big fan. You remove a big chunk of their crazy antic. That's exactly what I was saying. But the person I was talking to is a teacher, right? And obviously school kicks out in end of June, July or whatever. Yeah. So she wanted workers because she knew their lifespan was only a few months, and it wouldn't, like, she didn't want them over the summer period. She wasn't going to be able to care for them herself. It was strictly she wanted to teach a class about them digging and things like that. So I said it was really interesting, but obviously I don't provide just workers. That's not something I do. But it was actually really interesting. It got my brain thinking that sometimes, you know what I mean, there could be instances where it could be okay. But I did advise her that getting a queen would make her a proper colony, and without it, they wouldn't act, like we would expect. So I'm just going to read a few of your comments here. We've got Crazy Antics, not a big fan of that. You remove a big chunk of their purpose. Hey, Ted, thanks for signing in. Warrior, I think that it is cool because they lose their purpose when the brood and queen aren't present. Yeah. I do not think you can learn much about ants when they lose their purpose. Sarah, that seems mean she should take them home and care for them or not have them. Yep. Hello, Auntie Matters, and hello, Sarah. Thank you for signing in. See, like I say, it was really interesting. I did say to her, and I think in the end she did go and get a full colony. But she's not an ant keeper. She didn't really know much about it or anything. She just came in and asked, what can I do? I want to show the kids this. Is this sort of thing doable? And I explained it to her, and we had a really good long conversation about it. But I said, obviously, it's not something that I do. But it was interesting. And like I said, it got my brain thinking that in some instances like that, it might be okay. But I don't know. I wouldn't, like you say, without their brood and the queen and their like actual job roles, then what's their purpose in life? If she wants a small colony, yeah, get terraformats, yeah, something like that would be perfect, because then you can just keep them in like your pocket. Not quite, but you know what I mean, a pocket-sized formicarium, and there's never really an issue. But yeah, I think, like, I don't think she really had a massive interest in ants herself. She wanted to teach students about them. They were only primary school kids. That is a cold cup of coffee that I've been drinking for about an hour and a half now. It's lovely. See, that was a really interesting thing. I just thought I'd ask for community involvement. She could use a queen. This is Crazy Antic. She could use a queen and then use them as a class project over the years. I'm assuming, yeah, primary school teacher, or even use the colony with the other members of the school. See, now the schools locally, I've provided a couple of them with stick insects, and they have managed to keep them going, so that ongoing years are going to benefit from learning from them. Like, it's not even a massive learning thing. They get to hold them, they get to feed them and stuff. So I think they like set job roles, like once a week someone goes out and collects more brambles with a teacher. I don't know how they do it, but you know what I mean. They enjoy having the stick insects there, and I have offered ant colonies, but they're not quite into that at the moment. but they might be in the future. There's other things in the works in that aspect, actually. But I think I told you about that before. I'm going to be going into like schools and youth clubs and stuff and doing little workshops, telling them about the different insects. And we're doing like bioactive workshops with some of them. Things like that. It's really cool. Really cool. Excuse my bad cough. Question for later. I'm going to answer your question now, and it matters, but I'm kind of confused. What's powering the waterfall in the dives? It's powered by like a pump. It's like a normal aquarium pump. I can probably find a link for it. Like the wire comes down into the tank, and it's just a pump in the middle of the thing. The actual setup of the pond itself is really interesting, right? So the drainage layer is on one layer. Like imagine the drainage layer is the bottom, and then the pond is separate to the drainage layer, slightly higher and separated. Right, so the water is in the back section, gets sucked up into the pump through the pipes and whatnot, out of the waterfall into the top of the pond, where it falls into a carbon section and begins filtering itself. It then it's got quite a bit of flow to it coming out of that waterfall as well. It then hits the big log in the middle, which slows down the flow completely. Behind the big log is actually the deeper section of the pond, where the water's a bit slower. It pools into the big deeper section, where basically all the wildlife and things sort of chill out, and there's, like I say, not so much flow. They can just sort of bob there and do their stuff. And then the water passes between this like narrow dam between a couple of rocks and stuff, back down into the bottom section at the back, where it goes back round and filters through into the pump. I say filters through, there's no filter on the pump. The filter's been removed. All the filtering is done naturally through carbon in the pond. The carbon is throughout all the substrate and, like I say, at the bottom of the waterfall, so that it churns itself, it cleans itself, and it's basically self-maintaining. Now, the interesting thing about it is I have to maintain a certain level of water in the entire drainage layer, because the water for the pond is also the water in the drainage layer. That back section is open to the drainage layer, so the height of the back section of water that pumps into the pond is the height of the water in the drainage layer. So eventually pretty much all the water should get sucked, or a fair majority of the water should get sucked through the pump system, through the pond, and filter itself back into the drainage layer, just keeping the cycle going. And obviously it evaporates naturally and filters through the carbon that way. But it just like keeps everything extra clean, keeps the whole environment really humid as well, and make sure that there's no standing water in the drainage layer. Because in a larger tank, that is one issue I've had in the past, is water just kind of, it's not going stagnant and it's not going dirty because it's clean water, but it never left, if you know what I mean. It was just always there. I don't know. I'm just going to read your comments again now. Yeah, antimatters, like I say, it's not something that I've seen done very often. I tried to keep the tank as natural as possible. There's only like 7 foreign objects in the whole tank, in everything. So yeah, I just try to keep it as natural as possible. Integrated. I struggle to say that. Like everything gets filtered. Epic got a pump that's small when the filters. Yeah, right. So the pump is no problem at all. Antimatters. The pump is really like, it's one that should sit like, was it like that, but I've taken the filter off the front and turned it like that. So even if the drainage layer goes almost dry, if there's like less than an inch of water, it can still suck up into the pond and keep the pond full up. Because like the pond fills before it filters back down into the dam. So as long as there's water in the drainage layer, the pond will never run dry. In theory, I've never had issues with it yet. Occasionally the pump backs up, but that's mainly because the ants throw stuff in the water, and it floats down and just, and you hear it, and I'm like, oh, those ants again. And like occasionally I can pour a bit of water on top of the pump and it will like kick itself back into action. And occasionally I have to literally just like I've left the pump exposed. Originally when I built it, the pump was in like this hidden cave section at the back. Like all the pump work and everything was hidden. Got rid of that after a couple of times. And I literally put my hand in, unclip the pipes, pull the thing out, blow through it. It will start up again, put it back in and put the pipes on. Now it's a bit of an issue because the ants quite often sit on top of the pipe system. Bit annoying. The other day they actually bit me whilst I was trying to fix the pump. It was like, you little, yeah. But yeah, really, I like it. It's a cool system. It works really well. And like I said, I haven't seen many systems like it before that I know of. Like you say, I got rid of the filter. That was a big thing. So many people I spoke to before doing it were like, "You're crazy. Don't do that." And I'm like, it'd be fine. If it's not fine, I'll know, and I'll know for the future. But it's worked out completely fine. Like the water was crystal clear most of the time. As we know, the ant population's doing well. We've got lots of other stuff living in the pond. I very rarely check the water anymore. I just don't bother. I know everything's at a good level. I just like this tanks. Well, it's been the same for so long now. Like good 4, 6 or 9 months it's been like this. So as long as I like maintain it normally, that beetle got covered in ants. He's still got one on his back. As long as I maintain it, you know, it kind of does a lot of the other work itself now. Let me go back up and read a couple more comments. Yeah, sounds great. I did get, yeah, crazy antics. I got offered the opportunity by youth club, like they do stuff over the holidays, like for kids and stuff. And they asked me if it's one we attend regularly with our kids. And we got talking about what I do and all of that. Actually, my wife got talking to them about what I do. And then they asked me if I'd do a workshop with them. And I was like, definitely, I'd love to do something like that if it gets people into it. And they were like, they want me to do a bioactive build where you get to take home the build and I tell you about it all when I show off a few ants or other insects. So I thought it's quite, you know, it's quite not easy, but easy enough for me to get a couple of beetles or millipede or even a colony of Lasius niger. Literally, this youth club is like 5 minutes away, so I could carefully carry it all down. But then we got the idea, why don't we open this up to schools? Like I can talk about, as you know, I can talk about things quite a lot. So why don't we open this up to schools and other places? And we've had quite a good uptake of it, if that's the right word. Quite a few people are excited to get us in, quite a few bookings. So we're looking forward to doing that like in the future, spreading the ant love, just getting the word out, and you know, it's gonna be brilliant. Lots of people wanting to do bioactive builds, which is fine. I absolutely love bioactive builds, as you know. Sarah, I teach a lot of animal care at home ed meetups and always try and keep info as correct as possible. Yeah, Sarah, your home ed things are absolutely awesome. So do you meet up with other parents that are doing home education and you like share curriculum sort of thing? Or do you teach other parents? You just try and make it clear in my head exactly what you mean by that. But I love the fact that you do stuff like that. Hey, Ants England, thanks for signing in. I've just seen your comment. I'm just reading back through at the moment. Definitely do workshop. Yeah, I can't. Like I said, I can't wait to get started on them. To be honest, it's going to be great fun. I enjoy doing stuff like that anyways, like how to explain it, you know, doing crafty stuff and whatnot. It's great fun, and then actually doing it about a passion of mine is going to be brilliant. So yeah, absolutely Spectacular. Can't wait. I've got something written down that I can't even understand. Oh, I do understand, but I can't remember what's in reference to. Who saw the video the other day? Hang on, I'm just gonna definitely do. Yeah, we didn't have the home ed meetup. It's a social group that I add in education, so I bring animals to it. It's kids 2 to 19. Their families started one. That's a brilliant idea, Sarah. Well done. Well done. Yeah, no, I like that. There's not enough things like that. Like I say, not enough, definitely. But right, so who saw the little short clip that I put on to YouTube and whatnot of the Polyrhacus dives the other day? What was that about? Just like thousands of them pouring out of the nest and just everywhere, really, for no reason. And then, like 5 minutes later, they were gone. What was that about? Now, I have a feeling, because I've seen it a few times, it's quite often when I'm just sat here typing away or whatnot, right? And I have a feeling it's like the way the nest is built. So there's like the, where's my camera? There's like the outer layer, and then they've put extra layers on top, and they've got different. It wasn't a nutshell because there was no drones, there was no wings, basically. It can't have been a nutshell. I thought that initially, and I got all excited. But so like I think it's, let's say there's different layers on top of each other, and they've all got kind of different entrances. So if you go into one entrance, you could end up in the middle, but if you go into an entrance up here, you could end up in the outer layer. So I have a feeling the queen was moving from one layer into another and had to come outside, because the only like time I've confirmed when they acted like that was when they brought out a dead queen, right? And they went nuts for about an hour just like that, and then they pulled out a dead queen. But I haven't seen any dead queens. I kept my eyes open, and it was literally like a few minutes. Now I have a feeling that it would have been a queen came out and went back in. I have at least 2 queens in there, so it could have happened, I can't explain it, but if you haven't seen that clip, you should. Like it was insane. There was thousands of them, absolutely thousands of them, which isn't a bad thing, really, is it? It's nice to see my colony is doing well. I am hoping this year we'll get some queens bred in the colony, because they do inbreed. Polyrhacus dives can inbreed within the nest, and I do have multiple queens as well, so multiple bloodlines. Everything should be fine. Yeah, I'm hoping, because last year we had quite a few drones. This year, obviously, the colony's grown massively. It's got a huge protein intake, so I'm hoping we'll have some males and females mate within the nest. And I can see a crab is just starting to come out onto the land. How old are they? This would be, now I always get confused by this. This would be their second full year. I put them into, yeah, this would be their second full year, I believe. Either second or third. No, second full year. I'm pretty sure. So possibly, let's say the amount of the stage that the colony's at, they could possibly get them. We'll see. We'll wait and see what happens. I'm just waiting to see if that crab's coming over this way. He's sort of gone into the bushes. Whatever. I did a massive cutback as well recently because it was really needing it. I got loads and loads of cut-ins, and I just chucked them into my isopod bin earlier, actually. I usually give things a few days or up to a week in quarantine in a separate box, just in case there's any ants or stick insects or anything living on it. But I do always check them as I'm cutting them. I didn't see anything this time. I chucked it all in my isopod bin now. So if there was anything, the isopods will probably eat them. That's the way it is. But I don't think there was. There should have been. I can still see some stick insects in the tank, so I'm pretty sure they're still fine and dandy and fine, like a dandelion or whatever. Yeah, the crab's psyching himself up. It must be quite scary to be a crab, you know what I mean? Like when the ants are out like this, when it's a normal day environment, it's not an issue. But when they're out like this and there's like a few hundred or 1,000 or whatever amount of ants, it must be quite scary to be a crab because you can only walk sideways as well. You can't even run in a straight line. Yeah, I don't know. They are quite strong though. I've seen a lot of research lately on them where they are like more predators, but in this tank they are not the alpha predator. They are definitely I can see him. He's slowly wandering this way. But yeah, they're not the alpha predator in this tank. The alpha predator is definitely the ants. But they are up there. I've seen them rip things apart. And quite often, if they catch the isopod, just fed all your isopod roach remains. Okay. Yeah, if they catch isopods, they will tear them to pieces. They love to eat isopods. And you can, one thing I do about the vampire crabs is when they kind of get used to seeing you, because they are quite scatty as well, but when they get more used to seeing you, the babies actually, because they've grown up with my constant involvement in the tank, they're a lot less timid than the older ones, right? But you can start to hand feed them, not hand feed them, but with tongs you can hold out a waxworm and stuff, and they will take it. Initially they'll sort of be a bit jumpy and then they'll just go and grab it off your tongues, and that's that. It's really cool. Like, it's super fast, as you know. They're super fast. I'm just watching him in the corner. I am tempted to take you over there on the camera, but I don't know. He'll probably be gone by the time I get there. But in fact, just before I started the show, I was looking in the pond because I recently dug the pond out a little bit because all the substrate was starting to sag into the middle a bit, and the pond wasn't as deep as it should have been. So I dredged it out, you know, as you do. And I looked in there just before the show, and there was at least 3 of the younger crabs just sat then in the deep pond, chilling out where it was deeper, you know. Excuse me, I still got that bad cough. So a little bit of a health update. I went to my doctor about this bad cough and whatnot. They're sending me for all sorts more scans. My health is definitely getting worse, is basically what they said, but we will keep going as you do. I'm just reading through your comments again, making sure that I don't miss anything. Just, yeah, Ants England, you just fed all your isopods roach remains. Quite often I give them all the like legs and the bits that fall off when you're cutting them up, or any leftovers. Like you say, any leftovers straight to the isopods. Best thing for them. Makes them breed faster, I find. The more, obviously, more protein you give them, the faster they breed. Although I do give them everything, they do love a bit of protein. Stacey, you saw the cutback video, and thank you for watching that. But the idea of that video was basically I want to be able to, like, when I tell people about my tank and whatnot, I don't want to have to show them like a 20-minute video. I just wanted like a nice, this is what it is. This is what's living here, you know. So it was more that sort of video. I thought it was a nice little video. Nice little video. I have got some videos coming out soon. I've sort of been struggling to do the videos. You know what my time schedule is like and whatnot. And to be honest, I've been a little bit overtired lately. You know how it is. You know what I'm all about and doing at the moment. But yeah, more videos will be coming very soon. As soon as I finish editing and actually upload some. But we'll get there. Can't do it all. Oh, well, sometimes I can. Right, back to reading comments. Do you guys know of any critters which can live with snails successfully? I've currently got isopods, springtails, but keep seeing mixed reviews online. Like Crazy Antics, we did have snails in the tank, right? And they did absolutely fine. The slug got eaten really fast. The slug appeared like out of nowhere, got eaten really fast. The ants just had him basically. That was that. That was the end of Mr. Slug. But the snails lasted really well. Speak to Sarah about snails. Oh, I could see you are speaking to Sarah about snails. I did have some in the tank, and I didn't have any issues with the snails, apart from when they went straight through the barrier. Basically, the talcum powder barrier that keeps the ants in, straight through the barrier. Absolute nightmare, because then the ants got out. It was like, well, if he's going to do that every night, out with the snail. But I didn't actually put the snail in. He got in himself. It's one of those. The crab's still wandering about, but he's not doing much. And I'm not going to be able to get a good angle on him where he is. He's just kind of there. I do love their legs. They're spindly little leg things. They're very cool, aren't they? And the big old red claws. Rah. If I had claws, you know what I would do? I would hold on to the remote, because I never get the remote. Going back to where we were. Just wish plants didn't grow so fast. Yeah, ants in England, like these ferns just grow absolutely insane. As you can see, they've already started growing back, and what was it, like last week I cut it back, something like that. It doesn't take long, it just non-stop. Some of the plants I've got are a bit slower, but those ferns are just insane. That environment, to be fair, is really, really fertile. Like everything in there grows twice as fast as anywhere else. Even under like my actual growing plant section with like my grow lights and water, that tank still does it better. It's just the way it is sometimes. To be fair, the more giant snails I do keep my native snails in with other small UK native species. Yeah, worms, yeah, probably. Millipedes, maybe. Worms can get stuck in those air holes. They seem to make a beeline for them, and it's really hard when it happens, and it happens a lot. But wow, I didn't know that. Snails get stuck in worms get stuck in a snail's air hole. That sounds horrid. Absolutely grim way to go. That I was saying about before. I feed my ant snails with protein. I feed my snail cow. They love beef mince. Okay, yeah. Snails will pretty much eat anything, won't they? See, I did have snails at one point, but they didn't do very well. I was about 14 at the time, I think, and they didn't do very well. I didn't know anything about them, so I was just like, here, have some snails. And to be fair, I think I crushed them before I even put them in the tank, because they were like baby snails, and that was the end of that. So yeah, that was my venture with the giant land snails, the big dinner plate sized ones. But it wasn't a dinner plate, it was a speck. And me and my big hands, like I've always had massive hands. I don't know why. Like when I was 16 years old, right, I had the biggest hands that I had not ever seen, but I've never met anyone with bigger hands than me yet. And that's still to today. I had size 16 feet. My birthday was on the 16th, and I was 16 years old. And it was just like wow, that's memorable. There you go. And I still remember it to today. It was like everything was 16 and I had massive hands. Yeah, it was just one of those things. Whatever. Right, so I was what day is it? It's Wednesday today, isn't it? So last night, was it last night? It was either last night or last week. It must have been last night. I was led there, like on the floor watching because I've got ant colonies on all these different shelves. So I was led there watching some of the ant colonies on the lower shelves, basically. And I could hear this clicking. Now I need to cough 1 second and go mute you. And I'm back. Whoa. Nearly blew my hat off. What was I saying? So I was led there and I could hear this clicking, click, click, click. And it wasn't clicking from the scorpion tank, because I know what that clicking sounds like. That's like a tap, tap, tapping, not a click, click, clicking. Now, what was this clicking? And it was coming from above me. So I look above and I thought, it's the trapjaw tank. So I look up at the trapjaw tank, and right, so what it wasn't quite a clicking. What it was I put all the food and everything on tinfoil, obviously. They had bitten the food and they were dragging the tinfoil across their enclosure, and the noise was the tink, 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 tink of the tinfoil moving about the enclosure. I thought it was hilarious. Like, they're really cool ants, but I thought that was really cool. Like, they don't like to eat out in public, is what I'm going to say. They like to take their food home with them and smash it down in their tunnels. They're really cool ants, not the most exciting, I will say. Like, not compared to some of the ants, like Polyrhacus dies are really, really active. My Formica are really, really active. But the trapjaws, although they are interesting to watch, they're not like constantly everywhere, if you know what I mean. They're a little bit more subdued, a little bit more like the diachema are until you feed them, and then you get that intense feeding response from the diachema. I just don't get that from the trapjaws. They send out like the 1 or 2, and that's about it. You know, the most I've seen attack a whack-worm at a time is probably 4. You know, and there's more in the tank. They're just not that aggressive or bothered. Sarah, you posted out hissing cockroaches today, and the box was hissing. The post office ladies are not impressed. That's brilliant. That is like, so yeah, the post office always says to me, what are you sending? I'm like, hobby supplies. Always say hobby supplies, even though it says like live insects on the side. Just say hobby supplies. I don't know. I don't think they'd ever mind. Like, my postman knows the sort of things I get, and he comes to the door with boxes and he's like, what have you got this time? What am I holding? The best thing to do is, after they hand you a box, like a large box where it clearly says live insects inside, careful, live insects, whatever, make sure they know it's got live insects. Wait for them to give it to you. Wait 5 seconds, like shut the door, wait 5 seconds, and then go running after them, say there was a hole in the box, and see their reaction. It might be a little bit mean. I'm sorry if you're a postman, anyone, but brilliant. Me and my postman, we go to the same gym. He's a really nice guy. So any tricks I play on him, you know, it's all in good fun. I'm just having a quick flick through, you know, the postman's Facebook. Yeah, like, that's it. I like saying, oh, you know, you just like held fire ants, and you know what you just like. He's like, oh my God, what have you given me today? And then talking to him in the gym, he's like, he's just the same. He's like, oh, I saw the box and I knew it was for you. Yeah, you know. I'll just shout, hey, yay, honey, dinner's here. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. So that's just like, num, num, num. But in some countries, they eat roaches and stuff, don't they? They cover them in chocolate or honey, or just eat them as they are. At China, they don't give them monkeys. They'll eat anything, including monkeys. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm sorry if I've offended any Chinese people, but you kind of do. I've seen it on telly anyways, is what I'm going to say. There's certain markets where they do eat a lot of, we would call, weird foods. But the insect food trade is becoming bigger. Now meat prices are going up, and they say chicken's going to be the same price as beef soon. crazy. Now meat prices keep going up and up and up. They say insect is going to be the next thing. It's going to be in there replacing whatever's, and it's going to be the next thing. We're going to be eating insects. Give it 10, 20 years, we will be roasting roaches and having roast roach with our roast potatoes and stuff. I don't know if I can quite go down that route, but we'll give it a go, won't we? I need to cough again, so you get muted. 2 seconds. Right, Ant Warrior, thank you for posting that. You've just given your Mesobarbarus colony the first taste of the ant lady's syrup. They don't look too interested, so I do not think it will be successful. But Mesobarbarus are really finicky about it, if that's the right word. They're really picky because they get most of their carbohydrates from the ant bread that they get from the seeds. They will take more protein, like they'll quite often take protein, but I find they're more reluctant to take sugars. They will take it if you leave it there. Like my colony, they tend to go for the sugars later in the evening. I don't know why. But they will, like you'll see 1 or 2 workers have a little bit of it, but they don't necessarily go for it like they do the protein and the seeds, you know what I mean? Or there's no comparison between their appetite for sugars and a normal ant appetite for sugars, if you know what I mean. They're not that bothered by it. It's kind of, they'll take it or leave it. But lots of the other ants, I will say, go absolutely nuts for the sugars. These are the ant ladies syrup sugars here that are in these towers. As you can see, the Polyrhacus dives love them. They can go through 5 full towers in a day easily and still want more. And it's really irritating because it's like a constant flow of sugars, a lot of sugars. I've never used golden syrup before. I do use honey. I've got a supply of honey local to me that doesn't use any artificial stuff or blah, 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 blah. All of that. It's on the website. So I supply that honey. I sell that honey. It's really good. The ants go nuts for it. You can feed it to them straight, but obviously I do recommend watering it down and making it go further that way. But you can feed it to them straight as well, or I do with some of my colonies. The Polyrhacus dives love having it straight. And in fact, it works for all the different insects in there, not just the ants. Everyone loves the honey. Why would they not? The dives are sugar hungry. Yeah, they love their sugar. Well, they love their sugars and they're just hungry. They're just really hungry ants. They eat absolutely everything. They have about 20 workers, but so I've just checked and they have about 10 to 13 pupa. That's good. So excited for the population boost. I give them about 4 or 5 fruit flies a week. Yeah, brilliant. Well, you know you're doing everything right there. 13 pupa is a great amount. There's the head again. Great amount to have at any time, you know, especially this early on. So well done. Well done. Just watching my Campanus herculinus. Love the sugars. And we'll literally drink half a cotton ball full of syrup a week. Yeah, I know. I fed them sugars. I fed most of them sugars last night. And which ones really went for it was the, I can't remember now. Obviously my honeypots were loving it. The Fidoli were feeding quite well last night. I gave them both. I gave them protein and carbohydrates last night because they're doing quite well, the Fidolia. In fact, I looked at them earlier because I wanted to see the actual state of the test tube. The test tube's filthy, but they've got access to other test tubes and they do go in and out of them, but they have no interest in moving. And you know me, I'm just going to leave them to it. If they want to move, they'll move. They ain't going to stay there and kill themselves, are they? If they do, they're idiots. But I've given them the opportunity to move. What else was doing well? The Japicanus. I don't think I've introduced you to my Japicanus yet, if that's how you pronounce it. You know my pronunciation's awful. Yeah, they were eating really well last night, which was nice. Herculinus were eating well. My Formica, my God. So the minute you put the food into the Formica enclosure, they don't go for the food. They come running up the sides and try and get out. They're so on it, like even if there's no activity on the sides of the enclosure, the minute they feel that pressure change, they come running up towards the enclosure door, outlet, whatever, roof. And it's really annoying. You've got to be fast. Jack on ecos. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you've got to be really fast with the Formica. They're absolutely awesome. They are smashing in all the food that I give them. I'm giving them actual extra feedings in comparison to some of the colonies of the same size, because they just eat so much. They're so aggressive. Like, they're doing really well. So yeah, feed them a little bit more, keep up with their pace rather than keeping them at my pace at this stage. When they start to get bigger, I'll slow them down again. But at this point, I'll keep up with how they're going, which is really well. One weird thing about them, though, and I know the Queen's doing really well. The Queen's still in her test tube. I had a little look-see look. She's got a red filter on, so it's not a massive issue if I have a little look as well. But I try not to. But I had a little look. She's fine. Massive pile of eggs in there. Quite a few pupa in there. But weirdly, they take the larva, right? They take them into the outworld, and they'll sit with them all day in the outworld, in this tiny little corner section of the outworld. I am so hot. I'm sorry. And they sit with them in the corner section of the outworld. I don't know why. Mine just went blank. And yeah, and then when they turn into pupa, they take them back down. It's really weird. Like, what? I don't know. It's not a wet environment. It's completely dry in the outworld. So I don't know why, but they do. I'm thinking it's about time I shut up and we have a duck race. Who's up for a duck race? We currently have 8 people in chat, so we'll have 8 ducks. It's brilliant. All I have to do, right, is type in D. The minute I type in D, it comes up with duck race. That's how often we do duck races. But we love a good duck race, don't we? Right. So we've got Stacey in number 3, Ant Warrior at number 7. Sarah number 2, Crazy Antics 5. Katrina, afraid number 7's been taken. Oh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. I forgot you could see me then as well. This one, that one, share, kapow. Right, what are we viewing? Now you can view that. Whoa. Right, hang on. Let's get this right. Let's get these screens right. That one. There we go. Yeah, it took a minute though, didn't it? God. My God. Right. Like, I can hear an echo every time I say something. I can hear it like half a second later. Right. I expect my oh dear. Right, has everyone got their number? We have Royal Duck up at the top, Purple Heart Duck. We got Policeman Duck. I was gonna say something else, but Policeman Duck, Vampire Duck, Queen Duck to go with King Duck, Royal Duck, Sherlock Holmes Ducks. He's on a mission. He's a detective. Pirate Duck and Alien Duck. Although I will say, Alien Duck seems to be in an alien costume. Judging by his eyes there, that is a costume. That's not a real alien. Don't be fooled. So, who's ready for the most intense race on the internet tonight? I don't know. We're not gonna count all the like big races going on and stuff. But anyway, let's go. 3, 2, 1, off we go. off to a great start. And I've also been told not to tell you the answer too fast, because apparently I announced it the other night before it had even gone over on your screen. Vampire Duck's doing really well, so's King Duck. Policeman Duck is holding his own. Detective Duck's coming up on the outside. I'm just reading your comments back. Here we go. I'm here if you want to guess. Voice only. To be honest, Ted, I'm probably not going to bother tonight. I'll tell you why later on if you want to give me a message. But we're having great fun anyways. Hello, Campanotic Ants. We're just having the end of the duck race. And it's the intense last 10 seconds. Here we go. And there we go. There we go. It was the vampire. Well done to the vampire in number 5. Whoever was the vampire, I cannot remember. Someone was, I'm sure. Someone was, I'm sure. But that was a duck race. Right, let's just do that. Do that one. And we're back. And I need to cough, so 2 seconds. Oh dear, nearly coughed my lung out then. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Oh, Crazy Antics, it was you. Well done. Well done, Vampire Duck. I'm afraid there's no prize for this one, but there'll be more prizes again in the future, as you know. I'm just trying to sort out that sponsorship deal, and then we'll have lots more prizes, which will be great fun. I'm just watching that crab. He's in and out of the pond like a frog or like a crab, Did I spot a beetle? Yeah, Campanotic Ants. There are quite a few beetles in here at the moment. They are the ones that grow out from Mario worms. I'm sure if we keep our eyes open, we will see them again shortly. There in this tank, there's pride is enough, brilliant. In this tank, there's absolutely loads of stuff. Beetles and crabs and isopods, springtails, millipedes, worms, stick insects, spiders, ants, lots of stuff. I can't remember it all, to be honest, but loads of stuff lives in this tank. It's like, yeah, the ants leave them alone apart from when they try and steal their food. If you just keep watching, you'll probably see it, to be honest. Occasionally they'll come in, they'll try and grab a waxworm, and the ants, they don't let it happen. But they usually get on completely fine. If there's enough room, they do let them just chill, you know. I mean, we could have a look around the tank. How about we have a look around the tank and see what we can see if the crab's out and about. Let's have a little look around the tank. Da, 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 da. And there we go, just a little tour. Yeah, I wasn't talking during that bit. I had to like go away from the microphone. I should have carried on talking, shouldn't I? But yeah, there's loads of stuff going on in here. Just gonna have a quick read. Spotted crab, yeah. A pump with flowing water, yeah. The pond section. If you go back in this episode, I did a really quite detailed description of how the pond section works. It's completely, like, not completely different, but it's quite different to most people's pond sections. It's naturally filtered through carbon instead of a natural filter on the pump and stuff. It's quite cool. So yeah, have a little look and listen if you like that. Yeah, if you want any help or tips on how to make this sort of thing, just give me a message anytime. I'm happy to give you all the advice you need, basically. Yeah, it's quite simple. The hardest parts is stuff like the water, the pond area, but I made that more complicated than I need to. If you want if you want to do it easily, it's quite easy, to be honest. But yeah, that's the tank. I am talking of which, actually, I've got a big bioactive build I'm going to be doing very soon. I've got this tank next to me. It's one of those large Exoterra things, like one of the really large ones. I can't remember how much it cost, but it's been sat there for ages. And I've been planning it out and whatever, as I do, for a long time. And I'm going to be starting to build it soon. So I will be putting all sorts of, what's the word, sneak previews and leaks and pictures and stuff on my Patreon whilst I'm doing it. So anyone on my Patreon will have access to all the sneak previews of the tank before I actually make the full announcement. That's going to be a long time as well, because I'm not even going to announce it until I've stopped it with something, and that won't happen until it's settled. But if you want to see it whilst it's in the building process, it's going to be quite a complicated one again, an interesting one. I don't think anyone else on the internet has done something like it. There's definitely nothing that I can research about it. So if you want to see what is happening, you have to be part of my Patreon, I'm afraid. But that's only like £3, £3 a month. You can support me through Patreon. And like I said earlier, all of it's helping to helping to improve the show behind the scenes. Now, is it 10 o'clock already? That light just went off next to me. The red light will turn on in a minute, and I'll be back into the normal. What? It makes no sense what I'm saying, because I've got filming lights all around me. I'm not exactly in the dark, but that side of the room went dark for a minute, and it was weird. Oh, Campanelli, Ant's baby awake. Baby awake. Everyone, shh. The baby's awake. We don't want to wake babies. Oh dear. Tetramorian Queen has laid eggs, but the water has run out, so I'm trying to move her. What a nightmare. Yeah, I've noticed that with most of mine at the moment, because of obviously it's a bit warmer, water's going a bit faster. So if you've got ants in test tubes or even ants in nests, check your humidity a bit more regularly at the moment during these warmer months. Especially if you're a new ant keeper, this is advice for you. It will run out faster. Simple as that. It will dry up a little bit faster because the heat. I mean, you're not stupid, we all know that, but I just thought I'd say it. I haven't actually got much more to talk about. I'm just going through my list of things to tell you, and I think I'm almost done. I am sorry again. There's no interview tonight. It is a shame when someone pulls out at the last minute. It's always hard to fill a spot at the last minute, but you know how it is. So we always have a bit of fun. We'll have another duck race in a minute, so don't worry about that. Oh, she's in the other test tube. That's a good start. But obviously she's got loads of eggs, so just let her be. She'll move the eggs over in her own time, I'm sure. flat syringe to insert behind the. Yeah, crazy antics. That is a really good idea. I've done exactly the same myself. I've done a few things like that actually. I had a queen which wouldn't leave an outworld, so what I did was I put a cotton ball in the outworld, and I just kept topping that up with water, and I kept her moist that way, and it worked. So, good night, Sarah. Thank you for joining. Youngest child awake. So jealous. Stacey keeps seeing nuptials in other countries coming up on YouTube. Stacey, the nuptials are anytime now. Absolutely anytime. So everyone listening right now, get ready. Get those test tubes in your pockets ready. Get a box in your pocket ready. Whatever you're going to do to collect a few ants, get it ready, because it will just happen suddenly out of nowhere, and you'll be kicking yourself that you didn't have a container on you or something. Now, I've said it a few times before, I'll say it again. You can collect the queens and put them in one tub, like multiple queens in one tub. It's when you get home that you need to separate them. As long as you do that, you'll be fine. You don't have to have an individual test tube for every queen that you collect whilst you're collecting them. Just to make life a little bit easier. I think it was about May time last year. If you go back in my videos, I actually did a video when the nuptial flights were happening. So if you look at the date on that, correspond it for this year, it will be about the same time. About. You got half a dozen in your handbag. Yeah. And work bag, yeah, definitely. Started collecting Pokemon cards and I'm making money. So now I have something to fund your addiction. Yeah, fair. There's a lot of money in Pokemon cards. Like, Pokemon's a big thing in some countries still. When I was young, Pokemon was massive. Now it's sort of like made a comeback, but in a different way. Mainly with Pokemon Go bringing back the hype. And they do a lot more like community-based Pokemon events. And I think that's like, it's not quite the same hype as when I was young, but it's different now. The world's different to when I was young. We sold a card for £110. That's insane money. That's crazy. I mean, I know like shiny Charizards can go for insane money and stuff, but wow. Wow, I don't know. Maybe I should see if I've got any rare Pokemon cards from when I was young. They're probably worth loads now, the ones I had when I was young, but they're all covered in like sweets and stuff. Yeah, I mean, we had it good when we were young. We had all the first editions, all the originals, you know. Now, like, I looked at Pokemon the other day, and they got like Pokemon chairs, and like this is Charizard, and it was literally a chair, and there was another one that was a suitcase, and it's like, this has gone too far. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't real. I don't know. I might have been dreaming. But I did used to like. I still like them on Game Boy and stuff, and you can get those emulators now on your phone. Emulators are quite cool because you can get like Game Boy games on your phone. I played Pokemon Red, and then what's it, Ash Grey. If you haven't played one, look for Ash Grey, right? Ash Grey follows the actual storyline of the Pokemon series, and obviously that's what you want to do. It was a Latios and Latios gold in. Never heard of those ones. Lapras. If it's not Lapras, it ain't. I don't know. The one where they form a heart, not a clue. Ice cream cone Pokemon. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Like, back in my day, they tried to represent animals of some description. I don't know. I don't know. My daughter really loves Pokemon. Amy, you know the amazing Amy. She loves Pokemon. We had a Pokemon birthday party for her this year. We had like Pokemon cake and Pokemon balloons and cards and stuff. Pokemon everything. She likes Pokemon. It's quite annoying. It's expensive. But if that's what she wants to spend her money on, whatever. I got a Game Boy Color with Pokemon Yellow a few years back. Wife said she wanted to get me something retro, and I never felt so attacked. Yeah, I mean, it is retro now. It's bad, isn't it? We're so old. I said that. What was I watching the other day? And it made me feel really, really old. Oh, that's it, right? So I can't remember what it is, and I can't remember like the little girl that was in Kick-Ass, the film Kick-Ass. The little girl in that, she's like what? 10 in that? I don't know. She's a kid, basically, maybe a teenager. She's like a full-on woman in a film now. I was like, that makes me feel old. Because Kick-Ass came out when I was in like, I don't know, my 20s or something. And now she's that made me feel old. That hit home. Oh dear. Well, Aunt Maria, it seems like you've got a good business idea there. Buy cheap and sell high. I mean, that is the basics of economics, but you've got it in the bag. If you can do that with Pokemon cards, they're worth loads of money. Well, I know something. I've got a really bad craving, right? And I've been eating them the last couple of days. In Lidl's, they have these things called peach rings, and they're like gummy sweets and absolutely amazing. And I've got a real craving for them right now. And yes, I can eat sweets even though I have no teeth. It's quite amusing. It's like super strong tongue powers or something. Crush everything with my tongue. Oh dear. We're going off onto all sorts of tangents. Right, we're going to have another duck race. Who fancies another duck race before I lose my mind completely? There's 7 people in the chat at the moment, so we're going to have a duck race, and we'll have another little chat afterwards. But we're probably going to start rounding up the show before long, just because, as always, I don't want to bore you when I've run out of things to say. I do really apologise for not having an interview for tonight, or not keeping the show going on longer and longer. Crazy Antics and Stacey are going to battle against that. Ooh, yeah, I am sorry that it's a short episode again tonight. I will strive to make longer episodes, even if the interviews don't happen. We might just change it at the moment to do one show a week, me chatting one show a week as an interview, but we'll see. We've got lots of people lined up, but I do have some dates available still as well. And looking towards season 4, because obviously I do them in 2-month sections. Looking towards season 4, we have quite a few dates available. So if you know anyone that wants to be interviewed, or you'd like them to be interviewed, if you want to know more about someone, suggest them to me or send a message to them yourself. Tell them to get involved, tell them to watch the show. You know, I love getting all sorts of people on the show, and I'm happy to interview pretty much anyone. Is there a link for my Discord? Ted, if you are here, buddy, can you find the link for Discord and chuck it on for me? If not, I shall see if I can do it at the same time. Let's have a little duck race. If you haven't had a duck race with us before, all you got to do is call out a number that hasn't been called out already. That is your duck for the race. There's no prize in the race. It's just for fun. We're going to have 2-minute duck race. These ducks have already raced today, so we're going to see who's on the starting line now. It changes up. Yeah, we'll see. We currently have, we've got some good ducks there. Snowman Duck is known for his speed. He is super fast. Red Duck, obviously, we know red is the color of speed, so he's going to be fast. Princess Duck, Spotty Duck, duck. Gonna be a good. Thank you for doing that for me, Ted. Yeah, Stacey, I do think about people which join in random moments. Yeah, we get some random messages. I get some messages occasionally from people who do that, say that they joined at completely the wrong time and I'm off on a random tangent. And I say that I can't always stay on topic. If you imagine sitting here on your own for an hour and 15 minutes chatting. There's no way you're going to stay on topic the whole time. I go off on a tangent. And I say when it's my chat show, it gets a bit wild. During the interviews, it's a bit more straightforward. But when it's just me, it gets wild. Anyways, back to the Ducks. We got Green Duck holding the line just as... Oh, Purple Ducks just taking it, and number 5 is storming out between them. Number 5 is taking first place. We got Bandito Duck in number 6, trying to creep up behind them. Princess Duck, number 3, coming up just behind Snowman Duck in first place. They are battling it out for the last 30 seconds. They're all going to fall back. Princess Duck is just about holding the line. Last 15 seconds now. They're all going to go nuts for it. Sponge Duck. I like that, Ant Warrior. Sponge Duck is his new name. Last 3 seconds. And, oh, wow. That came out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Bandito in number 6 took the prize. What a shock. The crowd goes wild. I didn't expect that, actually. There's quite a few ants there now. When I first put the food down, I wasn't sure they were all going to come out. Well, I knew some would, but there's quite a few there now. They didn't do their whole, like, million ant sort of thing like they do sometimes. Not a million, but you know what I mean. Obviously, a million is exaggerated. I know I don't have a million ants. Would be cool, eh? I'd love to have a million ants. Even between all my ant colonies. Like, a million is a lot. Wow. I think... So, just reading your comments. Just going through. Oh, there is one more thing I can actually tell you. The Great Ant Exhibition. There's now so many... what word do I use? Event and exhibit sort of things that I can't make more space for more vendors. Like I always said I would be able to add in more space for more vendors, but I'm pretty much out of space now. Like, I've got the allocated space for the vendors, and I've got so many exhibits and other things to be going on and involved with. Like, it's brilliant. I'm really super excited for it now. Like, really super excited, more than I was already. Like, there's not just a trade show, you know what I mean? There's going to be so much going on, so much fun stuff. I'm going to be absolutely knackered by the end of it. I'm going to be left, right, and center and all over the place all day. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, it's going to be good fun. I can't wait now. But I think that is the high note we're going to end on. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone for watching tonight and listening to me chat rubbish, chat away as I do. Stacey, make sure you message me. Anyone listening to this, make sure you message me if you're buying your tickets. I'll give you your £5 discount code as well. So your £15 tickets only going to cost you a tenner. You can do this on as many tickets as you're going to buy as well. So make sure you message me because I want to give you all a discount because I can. Excuse me. But again, massive thank you all for signing on, watching me again for another night. We have got another interview lined up for Sunday, so hopefully that one won't fall through and it will be a good late show for you as always. Making sure I'm doing everything. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. So again, a massive thank you to all. You're all absolutely awesome stars. You know where to get me if you want to message me. I'll be available until the early hours of the morning when I go to bed. And as always, a massive thank you to my Patreon supporters. You are helping improve the show massively at the moment. And to be honest, your support is helping me keep focused on everything that I've got going on. It's real encouragement, you know what I mean? It's nice to be appreciated in the work that I'm putting into things. So it's really nice, and thank you so much for your support. So that's Katrina, Stacey, Kevin, and Jason. Thank you massively for your Patreon support. And a massive thank you to Answer Us as well for supporting the streams. He's an absolute legend. Let's all say a massive thank you to Chris, because without Chris, it wouldn't have got to the point it is at the moment. You know what I'm trying to say. A massive thank you to everyone. Find my Patreon if you want to support me. Find us on all the other social medias. La 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 la. All of those words that I say every time. You know. Group hug, yeah, exactly. Big group hug, because we're all like a big family here. Yeah. Thank you. So you know where I am if you want to message me. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you all for coming on for another show. But as always, from me, I'll see you again soon, Amp fans. Good night.